In the last episode, we endured the chaos of putting Spy back together. Though we struggled with mold, heat, sleep deprivation, food poisoning, and engine problems, we were off, once again at sea, though it is windless and we are motoring. Our plan is to make the 100-mile crossing of the North Sea of Cortez ahead of the strong gale-force winds predicted to begin blowing the next day. If all goes well, we will be safely tucked in and anchored behind Point Willard before the winds and the seas reach their full height.
We motored all day, trying to beat this gale that's coming down the sea. As you can hear, I have a cold or something. It's really messing with my throat. The wind has just picked up this morning. It's about 5:30 right now. So we just have a little bit of jib sail up. We're rocking and rolling and riding it out. Feeling pretty good, doing about 5 knots. We should be there soon. I can see the lighthouse.
With our jibsail furled to the size of a storm jib, we rode the building seas to safely anchor behind Punta Willard. The point offered us complete protection from the seas, but almost none from the winds. With the anchor well set, Allie and I both collapsed. The exhaustion from getting Spy out of the boatyard overtook us. The cold I had caught on the way out became serious, and I laid bedridden for days. It is days like these that we are especially thankful for having such a strong boat with proper anchor gear.
After a week of recovery and rest, we were finally headed out to do some exploring and try to remember what we were doing all the way down here in Mexico. We had only a day of settled weather in the forecast, and we really wanted to see a group of islands just 10 miles north, known as the Enchanted Islands. These islands are rarely visited and barely mentioned in any of our cruising guides, but we had heard interesting things from another sailor, and we had to see for ourselves. We decided to stop at the largest and closest island, Isla San Luis. We were extremely cautious and slow as we approached, and it was a good thing too. We found our charts were off when our depth finder suddenly jumped from 100 feet to 10 feet. We made a quick turnaround, successfully crossing the uncharted sandbar with 20 feet below our keel, and left a marker on the chart for our exit the next day. Carefully making our way into the protection of the island, Aaron dropped the anchor in 15 feet of water.
Swim in your behind. Clickbait.
Settling in, we caught word from a friend we had made in the yard in Penasco. He was passing by and we convinced him to stop at the island with us for the night. He was exhausted from his journey across the North Sea aboard his boat Coconut, and so it was just Aaron and I off to explore shore for the evening.
Made it back to Mexico.
Aaron could not get enough of the volcanic hummus on the island.
Amazing.
Incredible, huh?
Amazing. Does it float? It floats! Wow. You know, it's all about the little things.
These are big things.
The Enchantment Islands are some of the youngest islands in the Sea of Cortez. Geologists believe the obsidian dome at the center of Isla San Luis may have been formed less than 100 years ago.
We felt incredibly fortunate to spend an evening on this beautiful remote island, and hope to return someday with more time to play.
Successful walk on the beach after a week at Punta Willard.
The next morning, we were off with the sunrise. Assuming we could follow our marker from the day before to cross the sandbar, I was surprised to hear our shallow depth alarm going off as we made our approach.
Yeah, no, I just tried to cross the bar again, and we are just smashing it again.
Surely due to the low tide, this quickly became a rather tense situation, as there was also a fast-moving current pushing us into the bar as we attempted to cross it over and over. And to add to the chaos, I had let out a fishing line in hopes of getting an early morning bite, which we did while bouncing along the bar. Eventually we did find a gap and got through to the other side. With the visit from the dolphins on the way out, things were looking up. Unfortunately for us, however, Poseidon was still in an educational mood. Our plan for the day was to make it 50 miles south to one of the prettiest spots in the North Sea, an anchorage at the tip of the island Ángel de la Guarda, known as Puerto Refugio. It is a large bay with many spots to anchor, but only one is protected from the north. Its entrance is narrow, strewn with reefs, and definitely not one we would attempt in the dark. With some northerly winds in the forecast, we had hoped to be able to sail. But the winds remained frustratingly light throughout the day, while the seas were unreasonably large and sloppy, giving the impression the wind was blowing steadily somewhere behind us and would soon catch up, but it never did. Ellie is rarely seasick, but the sloppy conditions today had her laid out.
Someday I'll figure out how to navigate without all this motoring. About an hour and a half away from the anchorage. The sun's going down, but I think it should time out okay. We'll get there before dark.
Exhausted from a long, hard day on the water, we pulled into Refugio just as the sun was setting. We set our anchor and went to bed, but the North Sea was not done with us just yet.
Jesus.
Can you see them?
Yep. So we got absolutely swarmed by no-see-ums last night. I don't know if my back is as bad as yours.
It's pretty chewed up.
Mostly like... So we're anchored in this lovely, horrible spot. And I don't know how, but they all got in the boat last night. And we had it all closed up and everything. And they're so small that I don't know if they just come through the screen or what. But we had a very miserable night.
Thankfully, by just moving a little further into the center of the channel, we found a light breeze that provided some protection from the bugs, at least for now. Having visited here at the end of our season last year, we really wanted to stay and enjoy some of the wild beauty this faraway landscape has to offer. During our second evening here, our friend aboard Coconut pulled into the anchorage and convinced us to stay just one more day. with the promise of an unforgettable adventure.
Tim's in the water. Aaron's about to go too.
Yeah, we're not all that exciting, are we?
Though we were a bit nervous to be in the water with these wild animals, we cautiously stayed near the dinghy and allowed them to come to us. It was an incredible experience that we will never forget. Motoring around the backside of the island, Tim knew a nice spot to stop and try to spear some fish for dinner on our way back home.
After one last itchy night, we were up the next morning to find the wind. We had spent as long as we could in this beautiful place, but the bugs and the heat were too much to bear. With wind in the forecast and a light breeze coming through the anchorage, we drifted, hoping for relief. The wind soon filled our sails, and we hoped the next anchorage would be cool and bugless, so we could get some much needed rest.
Probably a sheep. It's not as thick as someplace. Got a friend out here.
All right, we're having a nice leisurely time today. I noticed the sun was getting a little low throughout the day, a little lower than I expected, so it seemed like sunset was coming. So we turned on the Starlink, looked it up, and it said 4:40 today, which I've been used to it being at 6:30, so that's what we were planning on. So once again, we are motoring, racing to beat sundown to get to our anchorage, about 6 miles from the anchorage that we're headed to.
You look even more red on the camera. You look red.
It's a sunny
You look
day.
pink, but on the camera it makes you look real red.
I'm not as burnt as I look, I swear. White.
You need one of those SPF shirts.
Yeah, I need to get tan.
Need a base layer.
This first leg of our trip back down the Sea of Cortez proved to be a challenging one. With some highlights and hard times along the way, we hoped for easier days ahead.
Did we make it? Who's happy? She's a happy girl.
All right. We made it somewhere.
Thanks so much for watching, and if you liked this video, hit like and subscribe, and if you really appreciate what we're doing, please consider becoming a patron. See you all next time.